Hello and welcome to my episode recap, episode 13 of Fate Stay Night's Unlimited Blade Works, titled Time of Departure. And this is the first episode back after a couple months. Fate Stay Nights took pretty much a season long break took a break from the winter season, now into the spring, and pretty talky kind of episode essentially. Kind of expected for me after pretty much a long break. You don't want to kill anyone with the crazy animations, have someone suffer from epilepsy or whatever from the awesome animations of this series. And again, slight changes to the animation here and there in terms of colors and whatnot there, but still nothing really too drastic change out of the already perfect animation here for this series. And again, more talky kind of episode, more of the relationship building between Shiro and Rin, as we see here, and even again, time of departure on the breakup essentially between Rin and Archer as a master-servant relationship, as we see here, and a pretty interesting sort of heel turn, if you will, that Archer takes in terms of wrestling. Terms here, pretty much going on to the other side, joining Caster, and pretty interesting stuff there for the series itself, and gonna see what happens next. Very interested to see what happens next, especially with, Ilya, Lancer, will they be helping out Shiro and Rin? Because again, Saber is already captured. I don't know what Shiro and Rin can do. I mean, Rin, of course, she's a mage herself, but still, there's only so much she can do against these servants. And I'm very curious whether they'll team up with another master as the sort of preview at the end of the episode sort of suggests there. So I'm really curious whether they'll do that. Again, Shinji's out there with Gilgamesh, so I don't know whose side they're on, if there is a side or not. But again, Ilya is a possibility who they'll team up with. Lancer, because there's never any images of Lancer's master at all, and so maybe just Lancer to team up with, perhaps. But again, very interesting stuff for the future of the series in this episode here. But the beginning of the episode pretty much sort of recaps of what happened. I mean, Shiro, he just makes it back home after his injuries and sort of the devastation of pretty much Rin telling him that he's useless in this battle. He's still determined, though, of his dream of becoming a hero of justice, because he became a master. Well, he began to fight not because he became a master, but because it was something that he could do, and he had the power now to do that, to achieve his dream of becoming a hero of justice, sort of trying to prevent the aftermath of what happened in the last Holy Grail War 10 years ago. And that's sort of his dream that he's still trying to keep determined, and he's getting ready for another fight, despite Rin's sort of, I guess, scolding, if you will, that's what we could call that, from that last scene in the 12th episode of Fate Stay Night, and I guess that's what you could call that. And so Shiro is still determined to keep his dream no matter what, and we are introduced to a new opening theme, Brave Shine by Ymir. Very great song, great opening theme for the new season of the series, and pretty cool stuff in the Brave Shine opening. And again, more recap stuff. We see Saber. She's now in a white dress, tied up in the church, and she's trying to hold back against Caster, because of course Caster is now her master and using command seals anytime she wants. But Saber is trying her best to not sort of succumb to Caster's evil doings, if you will. And so Kuzuki, he's not a big fan of what Caster's doing, because she's pretty much doing whatever she wants, not really part of Kuzuki's plan. And so he decides to stay in the church in order to keep an eye on Caster, and she tries to find the vessel for the Holy Grail. And again, Kirei possibly dead. I don't think so. I think Kirei's a little too smart for that, especially if you saw Phase Zero. He's a little too smart just to be killed off this easily. And so maybe eventually later on, probably over the end of the series, we'll see Kirei back at it again, doing what he does best. We cut back into Rin. She talks about sort of what she found out what her dream was. We see Archer sort of walking around this wasteland of blades and whatnot, and she determined that it was a certain heroic spirit's mental landscape. By certain heroic spirit, she is obviously talking about Archer, I assume. And special servants, as she talks about, are safeguards as protectors. And I guess we're learning more about Archer's backstory as a servant and sort of him as a heroic spirit. They're summoned to prevent the human race from destroying itself, but they're also forced up to clean the mess of the human race. But later on he learned that it was futile and started despising the human world because the human world is very destructive and they do a lot to destroy themselves despite what anyone else would do, and he is continued to be betrayed by his ideal even after death. And I guess more foreshadowing stuff, possibly the fights against Archer and Shiro, as is suggested in the opening theme of this series. And again, that's going to be an epic fight on both a ideological level and also a physical level, because we do see an opening theme again. The projection magic is possibly getting stronger for Shiro. He tries to use it in this episode as well, and maybe he'll use that against Archer in their upcoming battle. And also going more into Archer's backstory and the relationship between Rin and Archer, Rin pretty much asked Archer whether he ever regretted something before, and that Rin wants to carry on this war and the rest of her life probably without any sort of regrets. But Archer does praise her brilliance, as he calls it, and that she will always believe that she is right until the very end. But it's pretty much over for Archer because his end came and went a long time ago, which is why he's a servant now. And as they have this sort of pretty interesting conversation here, they make their way towards the church and see what Castor has done, and Rin's pretty much the person who does determine that, Kira's probably prepared for this kind of situation, and he'll probably come back later on sometime whenever he wants to. And pretty much Rin, they decided as a plan that Rin will take on Castor and Archer will take on Kuzuki, because Castor could just use Rule Breaker easily on Archer if they get too close. And so Rin is determined to free Saber and make a new pact with Shiro. But when Archer hears that, he's not very happy about that. We've learned throughout the first season of Fate Stay Nights that Archer isn't really a big fan of Shiro. He's not really a big fan of Rin sort of subjecting herself to Shiro, a weak master, and he doesn't really mind freeing Saber. I guess more challenges for him, but it's more of a Shiro kind of thing that Rin has with Shiro compared to Archer's sort of hatred of Shiro, if you will. I guess you could call it hatred, but sort of disgust of his sort of weak minded thinking that he has, as we've seen before. And so maybe he has some other plans, perhaps a little more foreshadowing of what's going to happen at the end of this episode. And we see that Shiro's also made his way towards the church just in time to see Rin and Archer take on Castor and Kuzuki. Well, things start off pretty well until Archer slaps Rin out of the way when Kuzuki is about to attack him, and she thought that Archer was getting ready for a big brawl, but she just slaps him out of the way and deflects Rin's attack as well. And we do see that Archer is also reveals Castor's identity as Princess Medea of Colchis. And pretty much in Greek legend, she's like big involvement with Jason the Argonauts as well. And so pretty interesting stuff in Greek mythology. I guess it's loose. I guess her character is loosely based on that. But he does ask her if she has room on her team, and takes up her previous offer before in their last battle to join sides with them, because he aligns himself on the winning side. And Rin, being shocked and just devastated pretty much, being betrayed by her servants, Shiro has to jump in to save Ren to fight Kuzuki, but before he can attack Ren, he tries to use projection magic again, but it takes a serious effect on him because he's a very weak mage and can't really control those kind of powers just yet. While they are surrounded, while Castor's going to attack them and kill them, Archer requests that he let Rin and Shiro leave as a final request to his former master. So that's pretty interesting there. He does sort of have an honor code, so that may be it, or maybe it's some sort of bigger plan that he has here, because I would think he has a bigger plan determining his character here, and so maybe he has something more planned. But Rin proclaims that she will defeat Castor and get Archer back, and when she does, she'll never forgive him no matter what. And so we see that Castor is sort of the big bad, if you will, of the series, with pretty much her herself being so powerful, her master Kuzuki, who can pretty much fight on his own. Now Archer is on her side as well. She has Saber as well, but Saber can't really do anything no matter what, whether she is being used for evil or whatever. Saber's pretty much out of the game as well, and so Castor would be the big bad. Again, Kirai's still out there, I would think. I don't think they would kill him off this easily, and so Kirai's out there as well, so who knows what he has planned as well. And so definitely Rin and Shiro are in for a lot of work in order to sort of stop these sort of evil doers, if you will, here. And so we go back into Rin and Shiro. This is how we end the episode with these two characters, where Rin, she yells at Shiro for his reckless behavior, as usual, as Shiro does. And so Shiro tells Rin that she's probably in much more pain than he is right now. She's probably more emotional pain than Shiro is, and that's when she starts crying, because she kind of is. She lost her servants pretty much easily without any actual fights. She just left calling her weak. Castor's more powerful than Rin, and so she was devastated by what Archer did. She pretty much said that, a boy made me cry, essentially, and pretty interesting stuff with more of the relationship building between Rin and Shiro. So the last scene is with them sitting in a field, a random field, like on some rocks, with their backs facing each other. And so Rin, she talks about how she always messes up the most important things. It's always the second and third most important things she gets right, but the most important things, she always gets wrong. And that's she also asked why Shiro saved her. Why did she want to save her for whatever reason? Sort of, I don't want to say dumb question, but still, it's just a normal question, I guess, you would ask. But Shiro, he does give Rin the pendants back to Rin. Says he has another one like it at home, so I guess there's two of those pendants, I guess. And so that's when Rin probably realizes that, oh, okay, yeah, I saved this guy before. But Shiro does give an explanation other than that reasoning that Rin revived him when Lancer killed him. But Shiro says that he saved Rin because he looked up to her at one point. He looked up to this one person named Tosaka Rin, and that he started to fall for her once he started to get to know her a little bit more as they made their alliance. He started to fall for her. And then that's when Rin goes into full tsundere mode, saying that, he is a idiot. Why are you saying those things, baka? And full-on tsundere mode, as Rin pretty much is that sort of character archetype, as we've seen in the first season, and going on to full tsundere mode on Shiro after he pretty much confesses feelings for her. I mean, even in that moment, she said, like, yo, why are you saying those things? And she was like, oh, it's true, though. I do have feelings for you. And that's when Rin, again, tsundere mode, goes into, sort of gets closer to him, thanking Shiro for saving her, and that she's happy that he did. And I guess it's pretty cute moments there for Shiro, saying that, I looked up to you at one point. You were kind of an idol to me, and then I started to fall in love with you after that. And I guess it's pretty cute moments, I would say. And pretty much we end the episode. Episode 14 and the rest of the series is going to be pretty interesting, especially with the other players in the sort of Holy Grail War of Gilgamesh, Ilya, also Lancer as well, Berserker, Ilya, of course, and pretty interesting stuff what's going to happen there. Really curious what's going to happen with Rin and Shiro, not on a relationship aspect, but more of a Holy Grail War aspect, how they're going to fight Castor with our servants, both of them. And so pretty interesting stuff there for episode 13 of Fate Stay Nights, where it's more build-up of the future of the series, of what to expect, or maybe to wait and see to expect for whatever is going to happen next in Fate Stay Nights. And so for rating, I'm probably going to give this episode a 7.75 out of 10. I did enjoy this episode. Again, that last moment with Shiro and Rin is pretty cute. Again, more interesting stuff with more world building, if you will, or just more story building, and pretty good stuff, I would say, here for this episode. But that is it for my episode recap, episode 13 of Fate Stay Nights Unlimited Blade Works, Time of Departure. Don't forget to put your thoughts and opinions on this episode in the comment section down below. Subscribe to my channel if you like this video and all my other videos on this channel. Check those out. If you like them, subscribe. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Bye-bye.